Baker. I mean, we just got the same champion pool, honestly.
I mean, look, it's a solid threat here. You can play pretty well against the Azir. You do struggle a little bit, obviously, in the laning phase at the early levels, because it's not like you've got, say, with the likes of Renekton, that long range where you can actually clear with your Q. You do have to play much more in the midst of the wave. You can have that W to try and help you avoid some of the poke damage from Azir, but it can still start to whittle away at your health bar. So it's more about when you get towards that level 6 mark where you have a little bit more threat, trying to get out into these side lanes and enable yourself to pick off some of these fights.
And there are some similarities to what we saw in game 1 from Vici, is the fact that this dives again, right? Like Leona, Ashe, the setup built there with an Akali that we know dives so well. Renekton, Nidalee, all have amazing gap closers. So you can see the direction of Vici gaming. They've changed around the components, but it still hits the same mark. Vici should be, because game 1 he dominated. He's on the Akali here, the 4th time playing it in the LPL. His 2nd time playing it, I should say. It is the 4th time it's being played in this league. And boy oh boy for Vici. If they can pull out a win here, they will look playoff ready. But OMG need every win they can get. Otherwise, if they lose the series here, pretty much goodbye for 2020 as we spank the shop to get in. If you've ever noticed that, that little yordle hits this animal cruelty every time. Just that beast didn't do anything. Unless it's maybe
it's like an affectionate pat, you know?
Or it could be something kinky for it, who knows. We'll go into game 2 though, Dagda, and the mist highlights the rift. Don't you dare. No more speaking about that. Let's move forward as Akali back on the rift. Are you okay? I'm sorry I said that.
Right.
Hey, I don't know. Each to their own. I don't know what the shop does. When the camera's not looking, when we're off the rift, look, who knows what they do.
Stop digging the hole. We're going to move forward. As Ike's is actually going to start off with a solo clear for himself, at least over towards these Raptors. So starting up on this top side. So what he's looking towards here is clearing, obviously, from that top down towards the bottom side of the map. So with iBoy and Maestro, they know that they're going to be getting a shove in. Cube should be relatively fine in this top lane because of the escapes he has from the slice and dice. So what Vici are trying to do is play through iBoy and Maestro on the bottom side and make sure that they're going to be safe as this game goes forward.
Well, it's going to be a bit of safety for Smlz and Sora, of course, with the Bard center lane. A bit of sustain to add up in the duo. As a bit of a look here at Zeka through mid, who has gone for the safer rune choice. Not really anything else you see people take. The fleet footwork running in with a presence of mind for the energy gain that he should get. I believe it's 50. It's 1/10 of what it is for mana. So 50 in total once he's gotten those 5 takedowns. As teleport also the rune to go through. Cleanse for Icon. But like we did in game number 1, we should start tracking the jungle path because it's straight to topside off of Raptors. Ike's hasn't taken a majority buff. We'll now start the red.
Yeah, so as we said, Ike's is going to be moving down towards this bottom lane. He'll be looking to use the pressure that iBoy and Maestro have in this bottom side to have priority towards this scuttle on the bottom side, because Curse can push relatively okay against Cube if he wants to. And as they will spot at Hacker on this bottom side, Vici now know that they will need the help of iBoy and Maestro to make sure that they can work with Ike's to secure their own scuttle. Because one of the things is, when you look at a Volibear in a game, Volibear actually clears incredibly quickly and incredibly healthy because he's got the Sky Splitter for the shield. He can work his way through these AoE camps and still have that heal coming off the W. So he looks really, really good. And when you get into these situations as Ike's, where, as you can see, a little bit low in mana, whereas Hacker is looking super good and healthy off of that clear, you need that little bit of extra support to try and help with these
I mean, Sky Splitter does so much damage early on as well. A really good ratio. And now going to be spotted out on the bottom side, lenses that one away. Good connection here from Sora, even Smlz for the follow-up. As High Noon Senna helps push the wave. Junglers are going to beef a bit here though, Dagda.
Sora and Smlz though have some control here. iBoy with that volley though will shove in this bottom side, but Hacker's here first.
iBoy steps forward, the death sentence does land, or rather it was the follow-up from the center, excuse me. iBoy is the target by Hacker, chops into him, but under the turret it'll be a 1-for-1 trade. Everyone's teleported in, Curse running away, Zeka getting low into the Shroud. While Icon didn't join this play, and Zeka almost died because of it.
But that's fantastic news for OMG. They traded 1-for-1. you don't have the scuttle going the way of Hacker, but he actually got the kill. So when we talk about the tempo advantage you can have off of jungle items, Hacker's the one that's got the lead. And Icon's managed to shove in mid with no TP coming back for Zeka. He's got a 10 CS lead, and Zeka will lose out on some of this farm underneath the turret.
Once again, Icon winning through the lane state, and iBoy here to catch the wave so it doesn't go any further. But off the side, Ike's is about to run through. The spear does connect, but out he will go. And he will eventually back as well, while challenging Hacker in this top side with no mid laner. Smite comes close, but of course it is secure.
Yeah, no mid laner and no top laner actually for OMG as well, but Cube on his own journey. Ikes will get spotted out here. Nice call from Hacker there. But look, as Ikes, you're pretty much even when it comes to that CS, as you can see with the camps. He's going to move back in towards his own side and start clearing out again, but Hacker doing a good job, at least in the early stages, of controlling the map state at the moment, and they got some early advantages for OMG.
At least pick up that kill as a response when he got Stalkers and the Ruby Crystal, versus you've only got the Talisman for Ikes. So, Vici Gaming dealing with a bit here in this early game, while up towards the top side is Ike's. Bottom side now heading for Hacker. He's got a lot of camps to clear, and pings are actually going down. Looks like OMG want to clear the river and set up for an early dragon. Well, we keep looking top, and of course, Cube is going to get a nice trade in the end there, but Ornn does fine here, Dagda. We've seen it many times before. He'll get 6 soon. We've seen Ornn solo kill Renektons, is my point.
Nice job from Curse, though, to hold the wave in front of the tower here. So, unfortunately for him, though, with how quickly this wave's being pushed out, and that's, yeah, Cube does that, the wave actually would have held a little bit further forward. Could have enabled Ikes, especially with that electrocute, to try and have a bit of burst damage, but not going to be the play. Instead, just Ikes trying to support and help Cube escort that wave underneath the turret. So then Cube isn't overexposed to Hacker, but Hacker, realizing this is probably the case, is going to start up the dragon for himself. Yeah,
good transition here. We talked about Hacker setting for that early, and SLZ and Sora do have a bit of control in their lane with the Bard being able to roam. Spot it out, but nothing you can do. And Ike's will just have to keep farming and get ready for that Herald in 2 minutes.
It's one of the nice things about having Bard in this bottom lane as well, is that when we were talking about, look, who gets that push power in the bottom lane to try and come over and help towards scuttles, having the AoE auto attacks in the Bard is really good at just helping you to get control of those lanes and that wave state.
Also, your ability to attack it. iBoy under the turret, just going to sit in the Sky Splitter, doesn't really care, I guess. An attempt made, nothing burnt.
Takes one bit of poke from each of the members, though, so we'll have to pop a pot to try and keep himself healthy, but he's got 3 biscuits there, not
but
the
Icon's
worst.
over push. The Javelin doesn't connect, but locked on down to Icon. Zeka doesn't find the final part of the execution. Bit of a choppy early game.
Yeah, Hacker was there. They didn't want to go over-aggressive, especially as you had no more follow-up there from the Akali. I was wondering if Zeka was going to hold off on following his E, but
Zeka's staying in lane. Doesn't really care. Shuriken flip out with the Shroud for a bit of extra energy. Hacker crosses towards top side while Ikes is stealing blue. But now it's over Scuttle Crab.
Icon moves across early, though. I wasn't sure how Vici wanted to try and play this. They had control of that top wave Cube, but it looks like they want to go for a gank. Yeah,
they want to kill Curse before anyone else gets up here. Javelin toss does connect this time, and Curse is just dead. Bit of burst here from the Fiendish Codex on Ikes.
The electrocute and that execute does a lot of damage. And Curse, unfortunately, the benefactor of that there. And now Hacker, yes, okay, cool, you got that top lane scuttle, but Ikes is still having more of an impact here when it comes to this, well, at least past the 4-minute mark.
And now we're going to big Renekton. Ikes, last time he ganked someone in game 1, they ended 9-0-2. So we're going to track Cube a little bit more here in this game too. The cult will turn into something else very shortly, as I'm sure the Phage there now quiet.
Well, that's what I wanted to point out, because Cube has got a CS lead for himself. He's got that coal, which is going to pop and give him a bunch of extra gold. And he's getting some attention from Ike. So Cube is going to be fairly large in this top lane. And the thing is, with the composition that OMG have, as long as Cube isn't caught with the Emperor's Divide, he can actually be a big benefactor in these fights, where he can be a nuisance for Hacker, he can get onto Curse, and try and actually have an impact and a carry in this situation.
Hang on, Shuriken Flip was used just to stop the back of Icon. I was watching the minimap the whole time, and iBoy's coming through mid. Dagda, Janet Crystal Arrow does not connect.
I was going to say, you flash and you've got the perfect execution for Zeka, so they could have potentially made a big play there, but Fortunately, not quite able to do so. Icon gets some nice poke damage back, but it is that 8-minute mark. We do have the Rift Herald up, and with how low Icon is, Vici feel confident to go for it.
Might be able to snowball one of these lanes. Curse going to contest, though. Icon hasn't actually backed. Walking into the river. Hacker's going to be stopped. The Tempered Bait onto the Herald. Curse is running in first. Hacker for the steal. It is going to be secured by Ikes, though, but they have to pick it up. A two-man searing charge. The ult from Hacker. Ikes flashes away. The Herald hasn't been picked up until Maestro sacrifices his life for it with one auto from Sora. 3 versus 5. Hacker low, but iBoy even lower. Over the wall goes Zeka. And this is messy. Perfect execution doesn't get him out. The exhaust, even under turret, he has to flash away. While Smlz runs forward, it's good kiting, but there's no threat of a kill. OMG will get everything for that Herald.
So well played by OMG. They were just in a better position approaching that Rift Herald. So Vici, as scattered as they were, as broken apart as they were, OMG were able to get into the thick of it, pick off Ikes, where he's far too squishy. We talked about how Ikes wants to try and play at range, and dive in conjunction with the rest of Vici. Well, they never got an opportunity to go for that. Hacker, though, kind of low here.
Yeah, delayed the back, but Enchanted the arrow's not available. Hacker and Icon are out, and you've now got a 2-1-3 Volibear with a bit of a CS lead in the jungle. You got a 2-0-3 Senna, who had a CS lead in this bottom lane, and Icon continues ramping up as Tempered Bait, kind of everything.
Yeah, so iBoy has no ultimate here, so Vici, who could try and potentially go for a divide and conquer kind of style here, actually aren't able to do so. And then Ikes gets caught out by Curse, gets locked up, he goes down, and this is where you just don't really have enough of a CC chain, and also as separated as Vici are here, they just don't have the play to try and carry this team out.
Herald was used, given over to Zeka in mid after all said and done, but the gold lead is still in OMG's back pocket by 700 at 10 minutes in the game. And we've already got a man immune, we've got Cinderhulk there. Curse is actually quite large too, despite being down 30 CS in that top lane. But a good sign from OMG. They weren't just going to lay down and die here for this game too. That was kind of what I expected as... Who'd the Herald gold go to? Because Maestro picked it up. Spread. So 160 to support and 160 to mid. Not really worth the fight that came in.
Not quite. But look, at the end of the day, we can still look at how Vici can play out when we get to this mid-game stage. Although we may have to hold on because Vici... A lot of members here for this dragon.
Yeah, over the mountain. And Hacker brought in by Smlz. Enchanted misses again from iBoy. This is my concern, seeing him on Ashe rather than Kalista, as his Fate's Call doesn't really miss that much. Still starting this off. Cube walking down Dagda.
Yeah, Curse is trying to do the same, though. You still have teleport here for the top laners, but may have to be burnt here by Curses.
Yep. Maestro locked down. Hacker in the pit, though. Vici grouped as 5. Soulflare slows him down. The Tempered Fate will lock down the backline. Hacker runs in first. Low health bar on Maestro as Curse now finally joins the fray. And this is just messy from Vici. iBoy will burn the same flash, but Icon should be able to poke him, even if they don't kill him. At the end of the day, you're like, whatever. They kill him. They also get the dragon, and we might be going to a game 3.
Yeah, a 2,000 gold lead already going towards OMG. Icon looking great. Smlz picking up a bunch of kills and those assists thanks to him being Senna. This is not looking clean at all.
This is what makes me question Vici's a playoff team. I see game 1 and I'm like, you know what? This is a playoff team. I see game 2 and I'm like, round 1 playoff team at best? Does anyone truly believe when they watch Vici series? Because 5 and 6. We've had some great games, but this one so far not great as OMG do get the lockdown. Amazing
from Sora, because he does lock down the 2 crucial members here, Ikes and iBoy, which means that then, look, iBoy, who's the consistent damage here for Vici, isn't able to turn that out. Ikes is engaged on by Curse, so he goes down super fast. And although Zeka's trying to make these plays, he still hasn't got that Hextech Gunblade completed, which is the big ticket item for Zeka. That's where this Akali really comes online. But with all this scrapping going on before Vici have really hit those core items, it makes it very difficult for them to try and just burst out OMG before OMG have already reset the fight or zoned off a couple of key members.
Now 2,000 gold up, 13 minutes in, much like Vici was in game number 1. And Zeka continuing to get poked out here by Archon. Thankful for the sustain, but still can't stay in the way for too long. Down 20 CS as well. Once again, Icon up on CS here in this mid. Also note bottom, 30 CS. by Smlz and Cube. The only one who's winning out, but it's against an Ornn who has 2 kills. And Ornn, of course, you think he cares if he loses lane sometimes? No. Most valuable tank in the game.
Yeah,
he doesn't take damage anymore.
And he's going to be able to give so many buffs across as well. Don't forget, as those ornaments come through for Icon, for Smlz as well, who'll be able to go towards Black Cleaver and shred a lot of the armor that is on the likes of Maestro and also
Hearing Charge used to get out. Dominus is there, but Ike's is nowhere near. And Cube won't have solo kill threat. In fact, Curse just bellow pressed him on the way out.
He yells at him to get away from my tower. But yeah, look, here, the thing for Vici is that as this game starts to go on, if they can get a tempo advantage in their favor, there's always the opportunity for them to try and use this double teleport where you do have Zeka who can play up towards a bot lane, have Cube up towards his top side of the map, and try and just shove in and again play the exact same style that we saw in the last game where Zeka's playing between the bottom or top side of the map and the mid lane and being an extra man and an extra nuisance for OMG.
We always said how Ike's works together with Zeka is going to be crucial too. This game around, Zeka's kind of been on his own little island as contention over the blue buff in this bottom side now. We are heading towards a Cloud Rift and of course Cloud Dragons to be secured. Vici will have to get 4 of them. OMG already have 2 in their back pocket. And I am kind of waiting for this next fight because Smlz actually very fed here in this game.
You talked about though the difference here for Ike's and Zeka, although you want to see Vici play through Zeka, is not the CC chain that we talked about. Anytime you see Zeka, or sorry, every time you see Ike's going towards something like a Graves or Nidalee or something that he wants to be a carry on, you'll oftentimes see Zeka on something like a set. Something that can set up these plays in the mid lane, the Galio, something along these lines where it's like, okay, cool. We are going to give resources in towards Ike's through Zeka, set up Ike's for success, and then we've got this great plan. But because Vici this time around have got the Nidalee and that Akali, it's a lot more difficult to try and play through this mid lane, especially against an Azir who's got so much escape potential. And now Smlz, as he talked about, is looking to punish Zeka for that because he knows that Zeka's not going to get any help. And for Smlz, because he's going towards this Black Cleaver build and he's got the Manamune, he actually ends up relatively tanky in comparison to other AD carries. So it's a little bit easier for him to survive against Zeka's burst or find an opportunity to reposition and get away from him.
So just the range already from the Souls. He's got 28 in his back pocket. OMG seeking this one away. Not really like Vici to contest anyway, so back pocket. Throw that one in. And Shirley goes down. Shelly's the first one. Shirley's the second one, right? Not sure. Atlas, where are you? I shouldn't talk to him right now. A bit angry that in Champ Select, Showmaker didn't win. Ladies and gentlemen, LPL fans, go watch the LOL Esports video. As fans, we won. Quick shot, acknowledged. Our mid laner. Acknowledged rookie. That was a good win. Ooh, fun show, actually.
Sounds like it.
And you know, Freak became, I'm sure, an LPL fan at heart as well as OMG making no fans with Vici this game. That Herald is going to secure mid turret while first turret does actually go, or rather not second turret goes down. Let's look bot though. And because the arrow misses, Smlz surviving as a Senna. Very long time. Tempered Fate almost gets him out of that, but the shutdown does go to Ike's, and I believe TP was cancelled from Cube.
Nice
did
pick.
He make it down?
Nice pick from Vici though, just as this dragon spawns. So should be able to stop OMG setting themselves up for this third dragon. Zeke in a relatively good spot here as well, where he can flank, but low on energy, so we'll need an extra couple of seconds to try and set himself up.
But we're definitely fighting here, Dagda. Just in what terms? 4 versus 5 as Zeka coming in for the flank. Sora spots him out. The dragon does go down to OMG. Double searing charge. They are 4 versus 5ing this. Maestro's left in the pit by himself. Low health bars. And how the hell did Vici lose that with a numbers advantage? Zeka getting chased down by the bear. Ike's is the cougar. And as we all know, bears greater than cougars. Ace, OMG, taking us to number 3.
And Icon coming out of that looking so damn good. That Emperor's Divide shut down the dive potential between Zeka and Cube, bought OMG enough time to turn that one around, and iBoy unfortunately wasn't in a position where he could actually try and deal enough damage, and OMG turned around a 4 versus 5, and they get the dragon.
Yes, they did. Big old curse with the searing charge was crucial there. We'll have a look at this one again because over the dragon, they didn't even get that. OMG got that.
Yeah, I mean, look, watch Icon here.
Holy
that double knockup
shit.
onto Cube, on towards Zeka. There was just nothing there. I mean, the two dive buddies who are supposed to be able to get in onto the backline are instantly denied, and then that's Vici's game plan out the window. They can't get on top of you, but they're not going to be able to do anything.
This all went wrong so fast. There's that poor Zeka in the end. Hacker, sorry, Curse, he doesn't really die. And the ace, as you heard, comes through as well. All right, pack the bags. Vici going to a little vacation, as Coma will call it. The belt in the back room. Coma's like, well, I'm glad I wore my tight, you know, my loose pants today to take off this big one, as Ike's just caught out for some reason. And you know what? Zeka probably needs to run as well. This is OMG's turret now.
Yeah, and this is OMG's map right now. Like, this is the team that scales late, that does better when we get to the 25-30 minute mark. They're the ones with 3 dragons. They're the ones with the gold lead. Like, this is not looking good at all for Vici. And I think, I mean, look, as much as you're saying, look, Coma will be angry, you kind of got to look at the draft and go, this is kind of...
Just parenting.
Yeah, this is kind of a draft issue from Vici, where you've all in on, as we talked about, diving in, getting this damage set up, but you don't really have any lanes that you can really play around, where iBoy and Maestro, maybe you can play around that bottom side, but Smlz and Sora on the Senna and on the Bard are so difficult to try and play through, especially with the cleanse, the bindings that can come through, and where they were positioned pretty much at all points in time. So Vici just never were able to get off to the lead that they really needed to get this composition. Yeah,
I mean, you've got an Akali versus an Azir, and you're like, well, when do we see Zeka come into action? Not really ever. Yeah, hands are in the air, I see it. And Ike's as well. We know what Nidalee is. She's a snowballing jungler who needs to get off the ground. Ike's is 2 levels behind a Volibear, so there goes relevancy there. And Senna Azir, we've already talked about it. So now we just wait and see how quickly Vici lose. And I know a lot of people like, as a caster, you should be saying, how Vici get back into this game? A lot of picks.
A lot of picks and a godlike fight. By maybe some miracle, OMG completely just fluff a setup for the next objective.
A platter.
You can get Vici to come in and like, you suddenly get a dive into Icon, burst him out. Smlz doesn't have the damage to carry. Maybe, just maybe at that point. But honestly, when you look at how Smlz has already got the Black Cleaver and that Muramana finished, you got the Deadman's played on towards Hacker. He's churning out a heap of damage as well. It feels a little bit difficult for Vici to even find that perfect fight. So if they can get picks, potentially, but it's not going to be an easy task.
You've got a lot of picks, right? You go over to someone's house and you see the smorgasbord, as it's called, and that smorgasbord is filled with salami, all types of cheeses. Of course, you're going to have Gouda. Everyone likes Gouda.
Charcuterie board.
Yeah?
A charcuterie board.
No, a smorgasbord.
What's a smorgasbord?
A smorgasbord is like
a made-up
like
word.
antipasto board, you know?
Yeah, oh, we just call it, yeah, charcuterie.
A what?
It's French. I suppose I'm European. So
okay, alright. I think smorgas is a... What kind of word is that?
It sounds
German?
slightly made up.
I don't know. Someone in chat will back me up. It's smorgasbord. How do you even deny this? I mean, there's a bit of poke on OMG as well. Smlz, he doesn't care. He's got healing. And Sora's just waiting for that pick. And Vici, their hope relying a bit on Maestro at this point as well. Ike's does no damage.
Yeah,
Zeka in for the flank.
That's even a Volibear that has no magic mantle and some Murder. Like, that's not a huge amount of magic resist, and Ike's completely useless.
Here we go. Solar Flare into the back line. This could be Vici's chance to call the Forge God. Going to lay it down as well. Curse only hits 1 with that, but Cube getting low. He tried his hardest, and OMG didn't really take much damage in that fight. Cube is running for his life, but Hacker on patrol. And Smlz will take him down. You got a Baron, you got Cloud Soul. Take your pick.
Yeah, Hacker played that fight really well. He managed to zone out Zeka, so there was never really any threat to Icon or Smlz.
iBoy
when you got those
here. He's going to flash away from the steering charge. Under turret, and Janik's arrow is good. you'd say, have OMG gone too far? But no, of course they haven't. Zeka has gone too far as he perfect executes out. And this turret will not see the light of day for this game. Well, maybe it will for now. Let's get a Cloud Soul and then talk about it then.
Yeah, they're going to be happy to pick up the Soul. And look, when you've got so many members here that do really well, when you've got that speed of fall for the ults, plus that ult cooldown reduction is super nice for OMG. So they're pretty happy with the way this thing is working.
Yeah.
So as I say that, Ike's tickles Curse and then takes more damage back.
Now, Teleport came in. Cube wants this fight. But nothing really happens. And you know what today? Coma's belt, man. Some thick leather. He bought it off Aaron Williams. I don't know if you have that in Europe. Aaron Williams, like the cowboy shop.
Potentially.
But some thick leather there. Maybe even the boot comes off. I don't know. But you can imagine Coma backstage is like, guys, game 1, you got brilliant. I was clapping. Game 2, what the hell was that? Because I'm a harsh person. People know. But let's be real. Game 1 and 2 Vici are like watching DMO and maybe top esports. Like that level of gap.
Yeah.
Definitely feels like what we've experienced here today.
Let's be fair though. OMG have also played this game.
Yeah.
Like, they have looked really, really good. Hacker getting off to some great plays. You've had him, his positioning fights has been great. Curse setting up for some plays. Icon looking back to form as well, where he's had some incredible Azir ultimates to shut down what Vici wanted to do. So I think we still got to give credit where credit's due to OMG, even if Vici can't make things work on this composition.
Of course. People like Curse as well. You know, Smlz having a game where he doesn't get caught out is nice. And
I suppose that was slightly positive.
That was
we can
positive.
give you that one.
The thing about OMG is they do have these games. A lot of our LPL teams towards the bottom, like DMO is not one of them, but LNG recently against JDG is iBoy is just caught out. What is he doing here? Well, Maestro's going to flash and will he die? Yes, he will, because that's just so easy. Solar Flare over the wall, and Hacker kills him. Zeka comes on in. But even versus 3, Ike's getting taken down. They're just too far ahead. Call the Forge God. Does too much damage, and Zeka will escape. But look at this. From far range, the Dawning Shadow is Smlz's goodnight kiss. And that kiss was not sloppy. The beautiful kiss, excuse me. It was a sloppy one from Vici. It's Grandma's kiss from Vici, and boy, oh boy, is there saliva on their face.
I don't know where to go.
I don't know, but the smorgasbord, where does it go from here,
into
Dagger?
Grandma's kiss, into OMG, picking up their first victory in this series, and looking pretty good for us.
Yep, Icon flashes away from the ult from Sora. iBoy 0 and 6. Never again. I think the Kalista was open for the first time in a long time. Maybe they should have taken, but I don't know. I'm a play-by-play. I'm here to hype this up, and let me just say, OMG good, Vici bad. Game 3 incoming, and that is it.
One of our teams will be sad by the end of this, because both of them are very much looking to... Oh, hang on.
Let's see. I mean, this game's over at this point. Just kill Zeka and get on with it. Nexus exposed. And, oh my god, if it didn't end there, I think I would have just put down the headset and we would have gone from there. But